sometimes I'll be, you know, I guess maybe like out in the world, and I'll just have done something really big that I'm real proud of, you know, and I'm just like, oh, I just fucking did that shit. And then all these people that are sitting around me at this bar or whatever, like, they don't know that that was me. But then it's like, pretty quick after that, I'm like, wait, fuck, I'm not fucking, who the fuck am I? They could probably drive past it every day and still never realize they even fucking saw it. It's funny, it happens. Whenever you see it like this, you know it was somebody that just like hated it, you know? It's like, if the city was gonna do it, there wouldn't be anything left. Like it would be fucking gone. If somebody just fucking hates the shit, they just slash it out, you know? So you can't read it anymore. And like, that's good enough for them, I guess. And then, you know, what's left there, then, you know, everybody else in the world knows somebody fucking hated this, fucked it up.
Weed pasting is a great way to get a message across artistically.
It's like graffiti, the same type of thing. We're just putting stuff up so people can see it, get our name out there and be known and recognized.
You know what? These are old-fashioned promoters. I mean, these are capitalists in the purest sense.
You kind of make your own rules when you do stuff like this. Nobody else is telling you what to do.
Oh my God! I love it.
You can spend more time thinking about what exactly you're going to do and then print 1 million of those copies and
go out and just put them up and put them up and put them up.
And be cool, calm, and collective about it where nobody knows where they come from.
You can put a piece up in 1.5 minutes. It's a lot better than sitting there for 10 minutes trying to, you know, spray a piece out.
If you're out there scared, I think that your work shows that you're scared. So I just try to keep calm, be smart about what I'm doing. Ninja style, that's the way to be, basically.
As long as they put it on someone's personal property, private property, so long as they do it on public property where there is not the permission to do it, then, you know, we could find some of the greatest artists in the Harris County Jail.
You should be worried about, you know, the murderers and the rapists, you know, and not about me putting my artwork up on the street.
I'm on a city beautification process. That's what I'm doing.
I guess I go by give up. I never really thought of it as being a name. It's not an identity, but it's kind of turned into that. That's what I get referred to as. It's give up. There's a lot of people that have this idea of what their life is and what they've accomplished and where they've gone. They hate it. You know they hate it. They drive their car, they go home to their family, they go home to their house, they look at their college degree, they look at their occupation, their job, their career, and they just hate themselves. They fucking hate everything about it, but they just smile. And they drive around and they love their kids and they kiss their wife goodnight, and it's all bullshit. They just want to blow their fucking brains out. They want to go fuck hookers. They want to do coke all day, every day, quit their job, burn their office building down, and they refuse to admit it. And I just want to fucking spit in their face and say, look at this shit. You know you hate it. You know you hate yourself. And just face it, admit it. I sized it right this time. Lately I've been sizing them wrong. You get like a 10-inch border on one side of it where you can see the sign underneath.
How do you feel with that one?
Yeah, it's all right. It looks like it fits all right. I think you'll be able to read the text from a little ways off. Might not be able to read the image, but fuck it, next time.
Until you do it, it's going to be hard to understand. Until you go out with someone who does it, the first time you stick something to something else and someone else sees it and they identify with it, that's when you're hooked.
I heard that it's like good to go out like in the streets this early because it's like when cops be changing shifts and shit, you know? So I don't know how much truth there is to it, but we'll check it out. That's it. Should be good. You can't have no fears when you're out there trying to, like, you know, get your name out there and you feel like, nah, getting caught never crosses my mind. That's how people get caught, I think, just being paranoid. Process of putting up a poster is so fast, you know, you can put up, you know, 4, 5, 6 posters in less than like a couple of minutes, and before anybody knows what you're doing, you're pretty much out of there, you know. The way I came up with the name was just by reading it in a book of this pirate called like Red Beard and his gang of cutthroat pirates. For somebody to describe a gang of pirates being cutthroat, there's some pretty bad motherfuckers, you know. That just means that they're gonna be out there raping daughters and, you know, throwing old men off the ships and shit. They're gonna do anything to get it, you know, so to be able to be steady out there, you know, you gotta be cutthroat sometimes and just, you know, do what you gotta do and just keep going out there all the time. It always makes it less suspicious or whatever when you go out by yourself, because people tend not to pay attention to just someone walking down the street by themselves, you know. You just think you're a slacker just wandering around with no car, so it makes it easy, you know.
I think it would be untruthful to say that these guys don't want to be seen. You know, they might say that, oh, they don't do it for notoriety or fame or to be seen, they just do it to do it. This is their art. But in the end, you can't really argue with the fact that they put it up in public.
I look at street art a lot like free speech. I just think that there are places where it's perfectly appropriate to put art on the street.
What I try to do is put a piece out so people see it, have an opinion on it, whether they like it or hate it, just kind of get them out of their comfort zone.
It's definitely an alternative art form for printmakers. Instead of sitting in the studio, you can take it out, and instead of keeping your stuff closed up and numbering it off, treating it like it's something people can't touch, you can put it out there and throw it up for people to see.
All right, you ready? You see a building and it's all covered up with wood and everything. I mean, you can make it look pretty. It's always fun.
I'd say some of the weed pesters also choose spots because it works for their art, like 212.
I went to the place where I paced up to be part of the art. When I started doing this, I was trying to recreate old walls, trying to get that look on canvas, and there's just stuff that you can't do. I don't think a lot of people appreciate like these old walls and just the way that they look with peeling paint and rotting wood, but it's like art created by nature, and to add a piece of my art to that, not only to make it look better to other people, but I want my pieces to kind of blend into their environment.
I try to go for like places where a lot of people, you know, are gonna see them, you know, like heavy traffic. Just keeping that in mind, just getting ready to go out, you know, you just gotta get prepared, which I never am and shit, but you know, just grab your You know, just make sure you got everything you're gonna need. Don't bring IDs for sure. You know, leave that shit at home. Hey, what's up?
What is that?
Wave hi to the camera.
What is that?
It's Su Comandante Marcos. He's like a revolutionary humanitarian from Mexico.
Oh, that's cool. I would shake your hand.
Have a good night. As long as people keep liking it and digging it, I'm gonna keep doing it. You know, I'm gonna keep getting better at it. I'm gonna keep like trying to please like my audience. You know.
Maintenance work pretty much is just going back to all the little spots that you try to keep, you know, make sure that your posters are there, and if they get torn or ripped or, you know, just to not let anyone else take it over. And it's good to have those in like high traffic areas around the city, like this one.
You want to get a hot spot so that lots of people see it. You also got to be kind of conscious of where you put it because you want it to run a little while too. You get up someplace where it comes down in 10 hours. Who knows if anybody will ever even notice.
Anywhere where there's going to be either a lot of cars or a lot of pedestrian traffic, where at any given moment someone's going to look over at a call box on a corner of a street and they're going to see it. A lot of people are going to see it.
The one intersection where, you know, every single person is gonna drive at least once during the week.
Dual spot right there. I hadn't seen that up close yet. It's cool. Yeah, that's a good spot. This is a real busy intersection.
All the kind of spots you want to get stuff in areas where there's a lot of foot traffic and a lot of car traffic, freeway. Bunch of different neighborhoods.
Doing fucking billboards, it doesn't matter when you go out, as long as you're gonna fill up the entire thing. If you do it during the day, then hopefully you just look like you work for Clear Channel or something. If you do it at night, it's kind of like who does this in the middle of the night? Whose job is it to go out at 1 in the morning and put together a billboard?
Other super spots are freeways because traffic and congestion and stuff like that, but those usually get buffed pretty quick.
There's the potential for that no matter where you go. Today I have a list of spots that I want to get, and I'm just trying to make sure that I remember everything I need to go to those spots. I just use wallpaper glue, like the powdered kind, and just mix it up with some water. Ready to go. And I haven't really looked around in a couple of days, so I hope that the real estate's still available. I'm gonna check it out and see what we can find.
Have you ever been caught for doing this?
For weed pasting, we've been chased a bunch of times, spray painting, but shit, cops coming, fool. Yeah, hurry up, fool. Shit, I thought he was coming over here because I saw him go right here and go fucking pull in right here real quick. Fuck. Out of the corner of my eye, I see fucking cop roll in the parking lot pretty crazy, but luckily they're all having like a fucking meeting at Starbucks. Man, I was already taking off without you and shit. That shit was funny. Well, that got the adrenaline pumping a little bit. Last thing we want is for fucking cops to fuck with us right now, especially when you're on probation.
What are you on probation for?
I don't like to talk about it.
Anybody that does street art for a long time is gonna have entanglements with the law at some point. It's just unavoidable, no matter how careful you are. If you do a lot, you're just gonna have some bad luck. I've been arrested 14 times. I've been detained a few more times and talked my way out of situations. When I was in Houston for the second time. The first time I was in Houston, I wasn't able to go bombing because I had to DJ at the museum, and I didn't get finished until really late. My wife didn't want me to go out. But the second time, a month later, I came back to Houston just to bomb. And the first spot that we went to, an abandoned gas station, I did a really big poster on one side, and then I went around to the other side, and bam, all of a sudden a cop pulls up. I hid behind the building in this really narrow little area behind all this junk that was back there, but the guy was very, very persistent. He went around to one side, shone the light through, didn't see me. Then he went back around to the other side. I moved to another spot, and I guess he could just barely see like my foot sticking out or something. But I was hemmed in this spot. So I came out. He had me in cuffs, and I somehow managed to talk my way out of it, saying, you know, hey, if you let me go, I can peel this off while the glue's still wet, and it won't even leave any residue or anything. And so he let me do that, and I actually put the peeled off poster in a dumpster. And then when he left, we went back around and got the poster, and then went out bombing for the rest of the night.
The police say it's very difficult to catch these guys. And so you could have one person who's very prolific who could destroy an entire neighborhood. They put their letter, their number, whatever their code is, all over an entire neighborhood. And if you don't catch that one guy when he's operating, you know, they can destroy a whole neighborhood and move on down the road. What? They drove by while they're doing it.
Maybe y'all good luck.
What just happened?
It's the same thing that's happened at every single spot we've done tonight. The police rolling up on us. They got better things to do.
I mean, that shouldn't be happening. I mean, the officers know what these guys are doing is property damage, in some cases trespassing, and in other cases damaging someone else's property. If they're witnessing a crime and they're not stopping them, that's not right.
You know, those cops just whizzed by and had no idea what we were doing.
A lot of people, I think, don't even think twice about it, and they'll drive by or walk by and not even pay attention to it. Versus a graffiti writer, when you're doing this and you're doing things really fast, I think your brain, or most people's brains, because they've been taught by the media that this action means bad, graffiti, negative. So in a sense, I think that the weed paste artists can get away with more because what they're doing doesn't seem to be aggressive.
Where do you think that you get the right to go and do something to somebody else's property and think it's okay to do it without permission?
This is not the type of artwork or the type of drawings that we would want displayed very just prominently throughout our city. It just shouldn't happen. It sends a bad signal about our signal.
You know, even if they have good intentions and their message is positive, it's not clear, you know. So what good is it doing? You know, it's just, I really don't understand it.
You know, they're breaking the law. They're misappropriating someone else's space. What they're doing is wrong on so many levels.
How does that make you feel when you see that, man?
It's funny. I just think it's funny. Yeah.
What do you think he's doing?
He's not caring about it, paying attention to something else.
This is wrong. This shouldn't happen. First, there's a disrespect for private property when someone comes along and actually do something like this. And secondarily, we have to work hard to abate it as quickly as we can.
Where people are doing it, on freeway overpass signs, billboards, dilapidated abandoned buildings, things of that nature. All those things bring with it inherent risk. People have fallen into moving traffic, and we've seen where people have been electrocuted, and we have seen where people have been injured in other ways. Regardless of the fact that it may be the most creative piece of work that anybody may see, you stand the risk of losing your freedom and your liberty by the fact of you doing it on non-sanctioned private or public property.
Well, certainly when you look at written inscriptions or paintings or drawings on private property or public property, and it's not authorized, you can classify it as graffiti.
To me, it reminds me of, like, you know, male dogs go through areas and they like leave their mark on everything so that nobody else will come in.
You know, in law enforcement terms, this is, in its simplest form, it's referred to as criminal mischief. And if people are reporting criminal mischief, we will respond, we will investigate, and if we catch people, we will arrest.
My name is Gonzo247, co-owner, operator of Eyesore Warfare Gallery. We pretty much have a really diverse crowd and support group. Well, when we first started out, our main audience was the everyday graffiti writer. We have been trying our best to give the street artists an outlet to show their work on a different level. The scene right now it's blowing up. I can compare the Wheat Paste scene to the old graffiti scene in Houston because it's now starting to fully develop. I think they're going to have more of a problem in the future with Wheat Paste posters than graffiti. I think they're going to pass up graffiti as the eyesore, for lack of a better word. Yo, what's going down?
I got these metal sheets they're actually 4 signs, and just printed them and clear coated them so that they would hold up a little bit better. And they have screw holes in them already, and I could just screw them up, but then it'd be real easy to pop those screw heads off even if I filled them with JB Weld. So I use liquid nails to glue it to the wall to the start and then screw it down to hold a little bit better. It'll still come off, but it won't come off as easy as if I'd done just one of either of those. Oh, I'm just trying something new. I got all the signs and don't really know what to do with them. Just seeing how it unfolds. I haven't, in the past, really been a very big fan of the kind of cutout stuff, but I just kind of wanted to try it out, see how it worked. It makes sense, you know, something like that image that didn't really have a lot going on in the background. It wouldn't sit very well on the wall to have just like a giant blank rectangle behind it. Kind of works better. I can see why people are into that.
I guess the theme of what I look for in art is like just creepy horribleness, you know? Like I'm not interested in like something really pretty. It doesn't do anything for me. People don't understand that for this kind of street people, the main thing for them besides inspiration, which they have, and that's why they do what they do, is the fact that they need resources. I need to buy paint. I need to buy paper. I need to buy I need to buy a silkscreen print thing if I'm gonna do it myself. You know, I need to go to Kinko's, make some prints and shit. Like, that costs money. People don't get it. Like, I need to tag. Like, I'm gonna tag all over town. Well, you need to go buy spray cans. You need to go buy paint. You need to go buy, you know, Sharpies. That shit costs money. You know, it's like, and these people are not like, oh, you know, like it's do I eat or do I paint? You know, some people paint.
What's up, man? How you doing? Doing well. Come on up, man. I used to shoot everything on film, but then a couple years ago I got a digital camera and it made it a lot easier because shooting stuff on film I still do. I still shoot a lot of stuff that way. I might, you know, blow a roll of film trying to get the right look, and then when I go get it processed at the hour place or whatever, fucking it, none of them might be any good, or the lighting might be wrong or whatever. I might not be able to use it. So, you know, for a lot of like background stuff and just like random shots, I shoot a lot of film. But for like this piece that I'm working on, like, you know, I had to get a couple of models for and stuff, and it's just like, you want to get it right. Bunch of wiener pics in here, so you're gonna have to get some of those. Basically, this piece I'm working on right now, it's for a theme show at Tradition out in Westlake. It's called Horror Business, and so it's kind of like a horror movie themed thing. Basically, the guy who's curating it, Derek Albeck, he said it's just kind of a excuse to do a bunch of fucked up shit and pass it off as our art, which kind of is right up my alley. I've been doing this for a little while. I've kind of started cannibalizing some of my own work. As you can see, trying to get organized. So I'll go out and I'll shoot these photos, you know, of trees, shit like that. And then I go to the photocopier and make photocopies of the photos, and just, you know, once you make a copy of a copy of a copy so many times over, it kind of breaks it down. And so this piece, I'm gonna have the central figure kind of have a wooded background. That might be good.
How do you survive day to day?
Selling my art where I can through galleries or dealers. I've been putting stuff online, selling prints. Some orders coming in from my web store. Gonna write down these addresses to put together the packages. It feels good that people want my stuff, you know. That's kind of the better end of it. Well, the zine collection book just came out, so that's what all of these are those books. Gotta send out a print today. A couple years ago, I made these hoodies that had this like black metal corpse paint face screen printed on the back side of the hood, so it's kind of like a face on the back of your head. And I just took some, like, you know, t-shirt material and printed it on that, kind of like just as these masks, kind of like a joke. Yeah, just put them on and ties to the back of your head. I thought they were just kind of funny, you know, and just, you know, if I got the screen set up already, a lot of times, well, if I'm having a good time, I'll just start printing all kinds of random shit. I mean, it fluctuates a lot. Like I said, I probably go to the post office 3 or 4 times a week, so maybe, you know, maybe only 3 or 4 things, but, you know, sometimes when I go to the post office, like today, I don't know, like 10 or 12 packages that I'm sending out today, and some of those packages have multiple things in them. I never had a plan to sell anything. And if I never sold anything again, I would still be doing stuff on the street, because that's still the primary motivation, is just to get up and just want to, like, you know, show off what I'm trying to do. You know, it's still weird to me to sell anything, because it's like, I think I hate money. Anytime I have any of it, I can't wait to get rid of it. And anytime I don't have any, I'm resentful that I'm broke.
My name is is David Elizondo, and I'm finishing up putting together a book on graffiti in Houston. I've always been interested in street art. Started really noticing it probably like 2002 when I was living in Austin. And when I got back, started seeing it around Houston, it's my hometown, and I started documenting it, and it kind of became an obsession. Maybe it will give people something to hold on to, maybe even have on their coffee table.
I'm just a fan that reads books and has a sensibility for art. You know, I'm no fucking nobody, dude. You know, I'm just a person that likes stuff and supports the artist. So there's 3 dudes in Houston that I own. They're not the only dudes. I don't know any Cutthroat, and I don't know any Yar. Someday, hopefully. So Eyesore, Give Up, and Duel, of course, the most technically advanced of the 3. Absolutely. Really into exploring different types of materials and combinations. Probably the most adventurous of the 3, for sure.
Hey, how's it going? This is Duel. Welcome to my pad. I guess I fall under street artist. I like to just put shit up on the street that I create, like make into big images.
Why Duel?
Duel. It's all based on the definition of the word dualism first. There's a good and there's an evil. There's a positive, there's a negative, there's a black, there's a white. And also because of the dual personality, the dual character, you know, living life as a double person. This is where I start. I guess the different people have different methods of how they go about creating their image. Some people are copy and paste using Xerox machine. Some people are straight doing a screen by hand, and some people are using computers to digitally create, you know, their posters or whatever the artwork may be. I take the digital road. So here's the icon.
Did you take the photograph?
No, I did not. I stole this image from somewhere, I don't remember where, but that don't really matter either, I don't think. But this one's a stolen image. So I'm happy and created to a 2-tone image. Sweet. But man, everyone's just taking a different road to get to the same ending, you know? I'm about to set up the lamp and the screen. I can hit it with the light and burn the emulsion, which I've set on the screen already. 15 minutes or so, be ready washing it out, and we'll be ready to go. I try not to really represent like a negative image in any of my posters, you know. I don't want people to like automatically look at it and like think something negative about it. I'd rather have people drive by my work and it bring them a smile to their mind, you know, bring them happy thoughts. The parts that have already been burned will stay in the screen. Looks like it's working out pretty good. Sweet. Pretty much like every poster to me is a different expression, a different feeling that I might be having whenever I come up with a design. Going out and putting up posters is just letting people know around, like, you know, this is how I'm feeling right now, this is how I'm feeling about this. It's just another way of communication, I guess, with our city.
For me, like, the love I have of him is the fact of the way that he's using what he has and how he's exploring material. The content is superfluous. It's secondary for me, you know? I think the person that has the most political one, the most angry one is for sure Give Up.
Fuck me. Fuck me. I'm not climbing down this fucking billboard again. This is fucking bullshit. Now, not only is this last one gonna be all fucking clumpy, hopefully you won't be able to tell from driving by. I'm gonna be fucking wrecked. This fucking glue. That fucking roller broke twice. I guess I should have been more responsible with my equipment.
That happen a lot?
Yeah, it does actually. To me anyway. Maybe that's just my luck. I take the pictures of them because I know it's not going to be there forever, and I want to have some memory of it, I guess. I'll fucking put it online like everybody else does so that I can seem more important than I really am. Create a fucking identity of fake shit internet.
But I think for him, his MO is it's not necessarily the quality, but the content and the quantity. So it's like, I'm gonna make 100 of these and I'm gonna show them because this means something to me. Like, I need to show the people this expression of what I'm thinking and feeling and how I want to express it. So for him, I think, I mean, I don't know the dude, it's about visibility and volume. So let's talk about Eyesore. Eyesore is my favorite. I don't know, I think he has the most talent of those three of them. Just because the way that he uses the medium, the way that he restricts himself specifically to just making kind of line work, like just one line, make a drawing with one line, like make it flow, just one thing, right? And who did that? Who did that back in the day? Picasso, dude. Picasso straight up, just boom, 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 one line. Didn't get out of, and like that also has a lot to do with tagging. Like tagging is like, oh, I gotta do it real quick, right? I gotta boom, boom, boom. So like you don't wanna break it up, right? So all that's actually like, Picasso did that shit, dude. He was like the first tagger, really, really expensive, fancy tagger.
I mean, this is mostly graffiti inspired, with the lines and the flow of the drawings. I suppose what I'm drawing at the moment is just the same doodle I've been drawing since I was in the 4th grade, over and over and over again. Just repetition. I don't even have to write my name on it. You can obviously tell.
Eyesore pillow. Super mega scored, super mega scored. 1 of 1. He was gonna mass produce these, and his girlfriend at the time was sewing them, and he was painting them. But from what I heard, I don't know the guy. They broke up, and he's like, fuck it, I'm not doing it anymore. So I just got this is the prototype. So 1 of 1, and it's leaning a little bit, it's like, right? So it's perfect right there. Like that's his little corner. So it's all sad.
Stickers are pretty much how I started. I got into silk screening and posters like a little bit later. Just, you move from a small, tiny little sticker. The next step is always to just go bigger and better.
I guess I kind of see stickers as like a mini form of repasting, I guess, in a way to where like you're able to put these images that are just at a smaller format in little places that you wouldn't expect to like normally see stuff. And I guess because of that, then it kind of gives it a more longevity, I try to be as incognito as possible, but I don't really see it as like a fear at all. Bomit is a good homie of mine who's now in LA, and he pretty much started off by like creating this site that like distributed out artist stickers.
It started as like a sticker trading type of thing, and then it went more to documenting street art, to where I would put up stuff that links to the artists that I appreciated and saw their stuff on the streets, and it's kind of just naturally progressed into what it is now.
Traders all around the world, all these kids making original artwork, sending them out, trading them, getting their stickers all over the city. We're just a big family, you know? Like, we're all connected through this thing that we do, and it's fun and it's easy, and, you know, tight-knit community of artists working on a new medium, you know? These are my tags, you know? Instead of writing a little fucking scribble on a wall, all I have to do is stick and peel.
Yeah, I know. I think Eyesore's content is just fun, man. It's a new expression. It's not angry. It's not irrelevant. It's just really it's his own expression. Like, you really see its own voice. Eyesore is a creator, you know? He's like, this is coming from me. Like, I'm a free draw this shit.
The best way to describe it's just like a code in me or something. It just, I can do it really fast and perfect every time. And, you know, sometimes feeling does come out of it. Like, if I'm angry or sad or frustrated, the faces end up reflecting my mood, and they're always changing.
He is doing it. He's like, this is my hand and this is my brain, and I'm gonna fucking bust it out right now. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's coming from his hand, you know?
I'm going for like a more of a metal theme. I like the grittiness to it. I don't use any photographs, no photography, no Photoshop, no computers. I try to keep it as low ball as possible, because, you know, you got all these younger kids just doing whatever they can on the computer. It's not very artistic in my eye. You know, started with like tagging, you know, and started putting up stickers. Of course, you know, the whole thing with the Shepard Fairey, and just kind of mimicking his medium, you know, a lot more fulfilling instead of just, you know, writing your fucking name everywhere. I don't go out and, like, you know, paste up on people's homes or businesses, you know. It's all just, you know, dilapidated houses or, you know, boring silver boxes. Sometimes it's kind of ugly, and sometimes it's beautiful, you know. It's up for, you know, the person passing by to judge it, you know.
I'm not an artist, but clearly all those dudes are drinking the same psychic Kool-Aid, straight up. You know what I mean? It's subconscious. They're connected somewhere, you know?
Whenever I was learning how to do this, I didn't have access to Photoshop, and even if I did, I wouldn't have cared. I think that it creates an effect that you can only get from doing it on a photocopier that you can't recreate on the computer, and I think that that's what gives it a, you know, a more defined look. You know, I kind of posed this, and for what I needed, I couldn't do with just one photo, so I had to shoot 4 different photos, and then I take those photos to the photocopier. Once I have each of the individual pieces just kind of reduced down to the quality that I want it to be, I use a scissors and a glue stick and just cut them and paste them all back together. And then once I have it finished, whenever I have the layout finished the way I want it to be at 11 by 17, I'll take it to the oversized or the large format photocopier and have it blown up into the 24 by 36 image. And I'll take that hard image at 24 by 36, bring it home, rig up my lights, and you rub vegetable oil on it and it becomes a little bit translucent. and you just kind of have to adjust your exposure time. This is going to take probably, I don't know, 8 minutes. Don't spray it out. It's light sensitive. It's a photo developing process, so you only have so much time before, you know, before you're stuck, before you can't scrub it out anymore. Some people look at my stuff and just see it as graphic design, that they don't see it as a piece of art, because, you know, anyone out in the public that maybe sees my stuff, whether they like it or not, they don't know that I shoot all of these photos. There's plenty of people that do similar things. They do cut and paste, whether they do it with scissors and glue like I do, or whether they do it, you know, in Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever kind of computer programs they have, that just take these images from clip art CDs or images that they just rip off of the internet. Whenever you see something and it's finished, if it looks good, it fucking looks good. You can't deny that it looks good. But I think that you start straddling that fine line of what is art and what is graphic design. If 100% of it doesn't come from your own reference, then you can't really say that it's 100% your own art. You know, I paint a big thing that says give up. I put this poster that says give up, and all these fucking assholes that think they're really clever go write never in front of it.
Never Give Up is a great example of a person that has no talent whatsoever and writes the coattails of an artist.
Like, that's the best you can come up with, right? Never in front of give up.
What has Never Give Up done? Nothing. That's not art, man. That's writing the coattails. That's writing the coattails of an artist.
You know, fuck you get a gold star.
Give Up is, for me, and this is why he's so strong here, man. Like, this is why out of the three of them, he has the most potential. Because he is not only an artist, he's not only a human being that creates something, but he has created an idea. There is an idea of Give Up. Just like Obey had the idea of Obey. Do you know what the fuck does Andrew the Giant mean? Nothing. It means nothing. But guess what? It creates a mystique. It means something to you that's different to me. You create a mystique and you create an idea. That's it. So Give Up has created an idea.
I don't even know really like what kind of order these are in. I mean, some of this stuff probably isn't as good, you know, like tons of just fucking random shit. You know, I just take photos of everything all the time. I always go back and take pictures of, you know, stuff that I've put up and things. That was in New York somewhere. I saw it and I was like, oh, I could use that for something, and I ended up using it for a piece. You know, like sometimes I just take pictures of shit that's funny. I don't even know what that is. Used that girl for, I think, 2 pieces. That's the one. It's like her torso, and then there's like it looks kind of like guts all in her stomach, but it's like a devil face. Dude walking in the woods. I wanted to have like the idea of like this hooded figure in like a forest type environment, but I mean, I don't have a fucking cape, you know? When it gets like turned to just black and I colored in or whatever, like as long as the composition's there, it doesn't matter. This is one of my buddies with a pig head in one hand and a knife in the other. A girl taking a piss. Use that for a piece. The rat with an ice pick stuck in it. Guns. Pig skull. Hacksaw. Jesus. Clock tower. Guy with a gun in his mouth. This is probably just all shit from the street. Telephone poles. Butts. Just catalog style stuff of different things I've done over the years. You know, they're not all hits, a lot of misses.
Great art has been driven by anger. Just fuck you to everything, to the establishment, to the definition of what beauty is, what art is, what meaning is, you know? It is good fuel, but it's not the only fuel, and it's not the purest fuel. The purest fuel for myself is just trying to reinterpret the subconscious for everybody. That's what makes art universal. Is a trial of interpretation of what the subconscious is, regardless of what it is. And normally it's, you know, not so nice. I don't know if he's aware of it or not, but there's this 1940s French surrealist movement there was a magazine headed by Georges Bataille. The magazine was called Acéphale, is a man without a head. That's Acéphale. Man without a head. He holds his heart and a knife in his hands, his guts, and death is in his reproductive part. So yeah, that's Acéphale. Let's see if we can find the guts.
Sure.
Oh,
Actually,
here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. No head. See what I mean? I don't know if he's aware. I don't know if he knows French surrealism or not.
What I like about Give Up's work and what I see in it is that he leaves a lot open for interpretation. A lot of times people see his stuff and it's very dark, it's gruesome sometimes, scary at moments. And a lot of times people pick up on that immediately and they kind of come up with their own idea of what this thing means. And a lot of times it's people think of it as something negative, something scary. Any piece of art that moves you in any way is a good piece of art. Whether it's good or bad, if it strikes an emotion in you, then the artist has done his job.
I mean, to me, it's so much. I mean, you know, there's so much in it. Is it give up or is it should you give up?
I think for me, give up is trying to preach a message, whatever the message is, right? Maybe the message is just, why are you looking at this? You should blow your brains out.
I think the communication is, we're here, we're not going away, you know, might as well give up and trying to keep us from doing this. You know, but we can't give up.
The thing about any art is it's open to interpretation. You know, I've heard some of the craziest, most like outlandish shit that you could imagine about what it means. You know, I've heard it being a reference to doing more drugs. I've heard it being a reference, like, say no to drugs. I've heard, like, skateboarding references that it has something to do with doing your tricks. Somebody told me the other day that they think it means give up yourself to God and accept Jesus Christ into your life. I was putting some shit up one time and this homeless guy came up and started talking to me while I was doing it. And he was like, oh yeah, I know what that means. That means I'll put a fence up at the border and keep the Mexicans out. People can read into it all kinds of crazy shit that I never intended. That's how art is. If it conveys a feeling, people will attach themselves to that feeling. Even if it's not the feeling that I intended, people will assign their own meanings to it.
I don't know what their art stands for, what give up is, or anything like that. If you could channel that level of excitement, that youthful vigor for whatever you're doing, you know, that'd be a good thing.
Can you really not find one thing in this world that you like enough to do that you have to give up? You know, no matter what's going on in your life, there's so much that God gives you. I mean, I could give you a list of 30 things that I have friends that would absolutely bowl over and never make it just because they've never had anything serious happen to them. But once you have something, you just get, I mean, it's so cliche, but you just get stronger and stronger and stronger, and you learn how to deal with things, and you become a better, more giving person who gets so much from that kind of thing, you know? I mean, I'll get emotional about it because it is very emotional to me. His work especially has been very important to me.
When's the first time you saw his work?
Maybe like a year and a half ago. I guess, like, I'm sorry, it makes me really emotional. Like a year and a half ago or a year ago, at a really tough time, a really, really, really tough time. And I had just been told that I had to do chemotherapy and that the experimental drug didn't work. We were starting chemo. And I looked over there and I saw that and it said give up, and I was like, excuse me, but screw you. No way. And it was incentive for me. It made me mad. I was like, are you kidding me? Give up? What are you getting up for? You know, what is so bad right now? And that's when I was like really mad, you know, and then within a week it said never give up, and it had a little bunny rabbit on it and a heart. And then I was like in love with it, you know, because then I was like, yes, that's what I wanted to say, never give up. But they both were just as powerful, and they both impacted me so much. This has given me a tremendous amount of hope in my life.
Had you not seen it, you think your life would be a little different now?
At that time, yeah. I don't know that I would have gone on chemo. I think I was ready to quit. What he is saying is touching everybody. There's nobody that's not being touched by what he has to say, because he's making you think about it. Lupus is an autoimmune disorder, disease, and it is where your body attacks itself. So if you get a cold or the flu, your body starts to produce, white blood cells to fight the disease. Well, then your body starts to produce more cells that start to fight itself. I have lung, kidney, central nervous system, and then just, you know, arthritis and everything else because of steroids, blood thinners, bed rest for 4 pregnancies, and then each one of those things individually take your calcium, and then a baby takes your calcium. So the combination of that caused me to develop severe osteoporosis, and my spine collapsed. I will be on pain medication for the rest of my life for my back. So that's, you know, besides anything with lupus, my spine is curved like that in the back. And so your internal organs have to find a new place to be, so they move into the front, which causes all sorts of wonderful issues. But one of the things just recently that happened is my hands started getting really, really arthritic and kind of funky. So in the morning, it just takes you know, a while to be able to start moving them around because they're really, really, really stiff and arthritic, and my hands hurt really badly, and they're changing. This is in my deal above my sink every day. Give up or never give up. It's the first thing I see in the morning. Literally, I mean, I have to put glasses on to see in the morning, so I put my glasses on, I walk into the thing, and I look, I mean, before I go to the bathroom, anything, I look at that. If I didn't have to reach, I would touch it. It's like a little good morning thing. You know, like you say good morning to your family. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what he's trying to say. What he's saying to himself. I mean, I know what he's saying to me, but I don't know what he's saying to himself. Give up is a huge statement. I mean, you don't have to say anything else. Stereotypically, you can look at me and say, no, I'm probably not the person that's going to be moved by artwork on the street. But yeah, I think he changed my life. Yes, I do. That's why I'm like dying to like follow his work and see where every one of his pictures are. I mean, like, the greatest thrill of my life would be to randomly get an email from him one day and say, go to this corner, go to this corner, go to this corner, and just get pictures of stuff. I'd hate to see it ever go away, but I would certainly love to see every single one of them.
What would you tell him if you saw him? If you met him, if somebody said, that's Give Up sitting over there.
Oh, well, I'd go up and hug him, for sure, and just tell him he changed my life, and that, you know, he changed my son's life, because I know that my son was having a very difficult time with me being really down. Yeah, I think it's horrible that you can't see his face or you don't know who he is.
You should never show his face. Never, 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 never. I don't want to meet him. I don't want to meet him. And it's like your heroes, you know what I mean? It's like you get disappointed or not, I don't know. Like, if I would meet him, what would I say to him? What do I have in common with him? Hey dude, I bought your art and I framed it. Great, thanks. What else do we have to share? You know? Maybe I have to share. Maybe I want to geek out on him and be like, blah, 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 this, that, you know? Maybe he doesn't give a fuck. Maybe he's like, who the fuck are you, dude? You know, like, why are you talking to me? I understand why Give Up and Banksy like have this anonymity. If people don't know you, you can still project or interpret yourself as whoever you want to be. But as soon as there's a face identified to a product, the charm is gone, man.
Mostly for weed pasting, that comes off with the pressure washer. You know, just the basic pressure washer. Sometimes after we take the poster off, leave some kind of film where the glue was. So we use some kind of light solvent and just kind of, you know, scrub it real quick and then wash it off again. And most of the times it comes completely off.
Why do you want to become a criminal instead of become an artist? So when you do it without permission, you become a criminal.
Doesn't the city belong to everybody? You know, shouldn't everyone be able to enjoy like the community that they live in? Or should they just look at nothing?
What I'm trying to do with my art on the street is just integrate it in a way where I can put stuff out there and people will see it, but it's not unnecessarily disruptive. I'm not an anarchist. I don't believe in, you know, screw all the rules, screw everyone's property. You know, I wouldn't want somebody to tag on the outside of my house, and people tag on our building, and we go and we clean it off, and you know, it's a little bit disrespectful. It's a pain in the ass.
Ain't no point in weed pasting schools, federal buildings, churches.
I don't go on businesses that are still open. I don't go on independent businesses because they're fucking struggling hard enough.
I won't, you know, I'm not going to go up and put some stuff up on a, you know, a federal building or anything like that. I'm not going to get into that business, but, you know, I won't mess with anybody's home.
Anything that is paid for by the taxpayer, I think that I own a little slice of. Every taxpayer does.
I haven't seen any positive messages, plus they're doing it illegally, which is another thing it's not right.
You know, it is art, there's no doubt, but we continue to have the challenge of if you want to put that up, buy your own billboard. If you want to put that up on somebody's wall, let it be your own wall. You want to put that up on public property, then it better be approved by the local government.
There's a time and a place. I mean, if these guys, there's a lot of free walls in the East End and throughout Houston. I mean, if these guys would just approach the property owners and let them know what the message is, and if they buy into it and they are allowed to do that, then, you know, then I say that's fair game.
They gave me a public space to do it. Why would I do that? You know, if I just wanted to do public art that I was worried about sticking around forever, I'd apply for grants and shit to build a sculpture in a park or something. It's just not what I'm interested in. I don't even know what the draw is. It just being bad, whatever. I don't know. I don't even know if it's bad.
Street art, whether the content of the work is political or not, is an act of rebellion. So it's political in that way. It's an act of defiance.
Some of it's just plain criminal mischief, and some of it is great artwork that is simply misplaced.
I will forewarn at least the Pacers in Houston that I will arrest you as a sheriff of Harris County. It will be my job to arrest you if you're violating the laws.
I mean, anything that you're doing against the wishes of a property owner would be considered damage. They didn't authorize it. If you want them to authorize it, then simply go to them and say, hey, do you mind if I do this? And if they allow it, we have murals where people can go and paint where someone says, we allow you to do this. In fact, some muralists get good money for painting pretty pictures or whatever it is on the side of a building. When you do it against the wishes of someone, then yeah, that's very clearly a crime.
So what's the difference in that sort of work put on someone's building and in the political signs that have been placed on abandoned buildings?
I guess I'd argue probably isn't a huge difference. I mean, you're still putting something on someone's building that they didn't ask for, and you see that all the time.
Certainly, it's prohibited on public property. But you know, you have overzealous campaign workers that volunteer, and sometimes it gets out of control. And sometimes you have your opposition, you know, will take some of your material and put it in a place where it shouldn't be.
When I was running for office, I would get complaints from people. In fact, a very good friend of mine would call and say, "Hey, your sign is on an abandoned building." And I hired somebody to go out and put up signs. And he worked, you know, 16, 18 hours a day, sometimes at night when there was less traffic. And I'd have to call and say, "Hey, apparently my sign is on an abandoned building, take it off." For two reasons. A, you've just trespassed, you've just done something wrong, and whether it was him or someone who worked for him. And B, it doesn't look good. People look at that as, your sign's on an abandoned building that probably should have been torn down anyway. So is that really what you stand for? So I don't think it's a good thing to do either way. But there's no doubt that it's also illegal.
In my own head, I've created this like imaginary audience, and it's like now I feel like they're paying attention after so many years. Now that I think that people might actually be paying attention, it makes me nervous to do it here. Whereas in other cities where maybe I don't have as strong of a presence, or I haven't spent as much time, I feel more comfortable like going bigger or doing more brazen things, because I don't feel like people will notice right off the bat as much. Maybe that's some kind of like egotistic shit in my head, or maybe it's, you know, imaginary audience. You never know what someone else is thinking, and maybe still nobody's noticing. You know, maybe still nobody gives a shit. But yeah, I get these paranoid feelings about who's looking, who's paying attention, and what does that mean?
When they told me, you know, in the hospital I had to go do this film, a video to my child, because I wasn't, you know, they thought I had like, you know, 24 hours, and I had to make a video to my child, you know, who was in my tummy. And, you know, that's a very tough thing to do, very tough thing to do. And, you know, what do you want to say to your child that you never have met before, to make sure that, you know, the things that you want to tell them are not to give up, ever give up.
Well, we're removing one of these weed pasting type graffiti posters. And the posters are actually kind of creative, you know, but you know, and there's a message, of course, says give up. But you know, who knows what that message actually is, or if it's actually coming across to anybody, or if people actually understand what that means. So to us, it's just another form of graffiti.
So when you see a sign is gone,
I'm sad. I hate it. I hate it. I kind of get angry that it's gone, and now especially because they're gone so quick. Like, it's like you see it, and by the time you go back to photograph it or go take it in again, it's gone. The city's obviously very anti-give up, though. I mean, because there's a lot of graffiti that's still up, that's been up and not going away, and should go away, that they haven't done anything about, but his work goes away so quick.
That's even more reason to do it, you know? Oh, they erased my piece. I should create a new piece, you know? And then the streets become your own gallery.
I've heard people say, like, you know, I see that and it says give up, and fuck that guy, I'm never gonna give up. I'm gonna fucking survive. Like, I'm gonna do this shit. And if that's what they need, like, it's a motivator for them. And they There's some people that hate it because of that, because they think I'm attacking them. And there's some people that love it because of that, because they're like, yeah, I fucking love that shit because he's challenging me every day. For me, fuck, you know, sometimes I fucking hate myself, and sometimes I fucking hate life, and sometimes I hate my fucking place in society and the opportunities I've wasted and the fucked up things I've done and the fucked up things I've done to people I've fucked over, you know, just shit from my past, shit from my present, you know, that I just like feel horrible about. I'm just like, God, I'm a piece of shit. Not every fucking aspect of life is pretty. Not everything's nice. People don't always get along. There's a lot of fucking ugly shit out there, and you know, I don't necessarily want to celebrate all the ugly shit, but I don't want to deny that it exists either.
I'll come back and do this later, but I'm gonna wait till it's all the way down, because even though you can't read it now, I think that you can read this, you know, you can't read what it says, you can read this, you know. Probably still be doing it forever. I mean, maybe I'm not going as big right now, a bunch of stickers and fucking bullshit tags on stuff, but I still gotta do it. Yeah, but I can't imagine myself stopping. I don't know what I would do otherwise.
you.